Hello. Yeah, basic introduction. I ain't fucking trying to do it this time. This is basically just part three. Part three of a true story about myself. But yeah, this is Positively Insane Podcast. My name is Kevin Alexander. You know the drill. Let me fucking put this shit in my pocket. I'm out here walking again. Walked with my roommate. Walked her to work. This is the middle of the night. It's fucking cold. You know? It's like a 20-minute walk. But, you know, I've been thinking a lot now. I said in part two, if you guys missed part one and part two, ask me for the links if you're interested. You can find it on my YouTube page, Positively Insane Podcast. If you want some back history on this 3-part thing, probably end up being a long series, but anyway, I said in the last episode that one of the reasons why podcasts are so important to me and why I'm driven to do them is because during the last 7 years, it's just been a struggle. Now, like I said, I've got no one to blame but myself for that shit. One thing you know about me is I don't look for sympathy, because I know it's all my fault. But podcasts and Facebook were my two saving graces, really. But I left one out, and the third one was music. I've got such a deep connection to music, as I'm sure many of you do. We all have our own personal connections, our own relationships with music. For me, it's truly down to my very core, to the essence of my being, to the point where sometimes, especially in emotional situations like this, or when I'm in highly emotional mental states, or whatever you want to call them, every now and then, when I need it the most, an artist or a song will reach out and fucking grab me by the heart and squeeze like a motherfucker. And, you know, I was in the bathroom at the gas station where my roommate works, and I just threw on some music, and this one track in particular called Earthrise by a progressive rock / metal band, Haken, I can never remember how to pronounce their name, but and I don't even know what the lyrics are about. It's almost never about the lyrics for me. It's always about, 90% of the time, it's about the emotion that the music conveys, or the emotion that the music instills within me. And this fucking song, it grabbed me, and I fucking broke down and started crying right there in the bathroom. And, you know, these moments are usually beautiful epiphanies, you know. This one felt like that. I moved to tears quite often by music and movies or books. You know, I don't talk a lot about it, but I'm an empath. I feel things very deeply. A lot of people do. It doesn't make me special or unique or anything like that. It's just who I am. And this song got me because it's such a beautiful piece of music. And for me, I'm often drawn towards pieces of music that can be used kind of, you know, in the soundtrack of my life. And I'm always, you know, for 7 years, I've been wasting my potential, and I know it's there. You know, You guys see me on Facebook constantly talking about Karma Soldiers or my podcast or this project or that project. And I'm sure you're all aware of the fact that I've been talking about projects for years and have nothing to show for it, except for these podcasts. You know, it's because I finally started getting other people involved in my dreams. And, you know, I've been making some progress there. But I'm not making progress in the parts of my life that are really important. And I think it's time for a change, but seriously, it was time for a change years ago. But this track in particular, like so many others that hit me in the heartstrings, they're perfect pieces of music they're perfect pieces to soundtrack my triumph in life. I'm always, you know, it sounds counterproductive or whatnot, but I've spent 7 years, instead of overcoming challenges, I mean, I have overcome some, don't get me wrong. I've overcome a lot. But there's a lot more I need to overcome. The really big ones, the really hard ones that I've been running away from because I'm terrified I don't have what it takes to succeed. Terrified I'm a shitty writer. You know, I'm terrified I'm not as funny as I think I am. Terrified that I'm not as interesting as I wish I was. And that all these things that I believe in, you know, all these things that I believe in accomplishing, I'm terrified that I'm going to accomplish them and nobody's going to give a fuck. And so oftentimes, in order to alleviate that stress or alleviate those feelings, I hide in my fantasies. And that was a big part of why, that still is a big part of why I continue to do robotesting on a regular basis. You know, if I go more than 3 to 4 weeks without a robo trip, and I call it a robo trip, you call it whatever the fuck you want. I used to call it a spirit quest, but that was before I started being honest with myself. That, you know, I have been abusing it for a long time. And I used to do this shit every couple of days. And when I couldn't afford it, I would steal it. If I'm being completely honest, I've probably stolen hundreds of bottles of this cough syrup over the last 3 to 4 years. Thousands of dollars worth of cough syrup, I'm sure. It got so bad a couple years ago, all the stores in town quit selling it. All because of me, I'm sure. And I had to go to the next town over to procure my shit. Just so happened to be, during that segment, I was in the next town over, so it wasn't too big of a hassle. And it's not, I've got no physical addiction to this shit. It's all mental, it's all psychological. But it is such a powerful thing, because when I get to this certain level, when I take a certain amount, it's the closest thing I can describe it to. It's like crawling inside a warm, safe place where you're loved. Completely. And you love everything. And you love everyone. And they love you. And it's a very powerful thing when you don't have that anywhere else in your life. And so I run to that. When things get too hard, when things get too stressful, I run to that feeling. I run to this whole, it's a whole ritual I perform I get music set aside. I get topics I want to think about. I get people I want to talk to. And then I get in there and I take minimum 1 bottle, but that's just usually for a good time, to pass the time, to pass the boredom. 2 bottles if I want to attempt to have a serious trip. But in all honesty, I gotta have 3 to 4 bottles to do the real heavy lifting, and I'll go into a deep trance. And I've built this whole world, this whole universe inside of my mind where everyone loves me, everyone believes in me. I've accomplished all of my dreams. I'm as successful as I've ever wanted to be. I know all the things to say to other people. There's nothing, I'm not a fucking loser, So no matter if I'm sleeping on a trash pile or on somebody else's couch or in a homeless shelter, I have this whole universe that I can go to and make it okay. And I often spend many, many hours in there. And I've practiced self-brainwashing techniques. I don't even know. I was at a point right around the time I started doing the stand-up comedy. God damn it. I think I might have fucked up my fucking podcast here. I apologize if that is the case. No, it is still running. All right. But I had manic episodes, drug-induced manic episodes that lasted for weeks, sometimes months, where I had these epiphanies during my spirit quest, and I truly believe, overnight, I had an abundance of confidence. I was overconfident. That's why I got up on stage to do comedy, without even questioning whether or not I had the skill set. I got to the point where I thought that I was literally in the Matrix and I was Neo and I just had to figure out how to unplug. There was even a point where I was dodging traffic because with the power of my mind, I seriously thought that I was faster than they were. I thought I could learn Kung Fu by watching videos. In my mind, I felt like I had memorized it, and all I would have to do is incorporate that into a real-life situation, and it would happen. I believed. I had true belief, and it's such a powerful thing. That's why true believers of any cause are dangerous, and they can do terrible things, but they can also do amazing things when you have true belief in your abilities. I'm running out of time. This is not a long enough fucking podcast for this shit. But to bring it all back, one of my biggest fantasies is when I finally accomplish my goals and I finally succeed and I finally make it through that frickin' finish line at the end of the fucking huge journey that I've been fighting, and everyone applauds. And these songs that usually get me are songs that are perfect for those moments. And I just broke down crying because I know I can do it. I know I can do it. So why the fuck aren't I doing it, guys? And the big reason why I'm doing this podcast like this, and I'm going to start a video diary, it's because I want to involve you guys. I want to involve the people I care about, the people that care about me, and that's my Facebook friends and family and audience. I want to incorporate you guys, take you on this journey, and then have you hold me accountable when you see me fucking off. Help encourage me, help me get through this shit. I'm probably going to do part 4 sometime later, so I'm out of time.